Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Calvin. Good morning, Suzanne. Good morning, John. Good morning, Crystal. Good morning, Tara. Good morning, Elena. Good morning, Alexis. Good morning. Today's 8, right? Should that be? You better be. Yesterday was 7. Good morning, Denise. She said teach him how to bounce. Hey, Jay, what's up, Tuan? Good morning, Jack. Robin, good morning. Good morning, Jay. Good morning, Patricia. Good morning, Angel. Good morning, Vanessa. Wish KJ was home to see you, Will. Hey, Sherwood. Can't see. Me? Where your glasses? I can see. Good morning, Rhonda. Good morning. Good morning, Alicia. All right, DJ. No. Hey, Lynn, I'm just sending you a message. Hey, Leandra, good morning. Ronald, good morning. Good morning, Barbara. Good morning, Nicole. Hey, Mackenzie. Great job, nephew, yesterday. Hey, Kay. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Kay. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Come on in. Would you share us? Would you just hit the share button on Periscope and Facebook? Good morning. Come on in. Good morning, Reggie. Yes, Will did an awesome job yesterday. Good morning, Lisa. Good morning, Maxine. Look at you, got your Aunt Candace up. Hey, Candy. Good morning, Brother Rodney. Get your notes. Good morning, Jimmy. Good morning, everybody. Hey, Krishana. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, Philly. What song is this?
It's a mix. I'll send it to you.
It's today's version of mixtape. Hey, Tasha. Good morning, James. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. Wake up with the word. It's Wednesday, August the 8th.
Ready to lose it?
I'm ready to lose a day. Good morning, Wanda. Good morning, Sade. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. We welcome you. Hey, Tara. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, Carol. Good morning. There's your teacher, Carol Osbrook. Hey.
I saw her son taking pictures. I don't know. They were having somewhere. Yeah. Somewhere.
Hey, Pastor McClary. God bless you, sir. Hey, Mary. Listen, everybody. You bring it out.
Bring it down a little bit.
Hey, guys. Hey, we're excited. I got Will to come back. Woke him up early in the morning so he could come back with us. Are you going to do it all for the rest of the week?
That's the plan.
The plan.
That is the plan.
The plan is for him to be with us for the rest of the week. I'm trying to get him involved more, and I think mornings are not really his forte. Well, you used to get up really early in the morning. You can do it.
Just gotta get back into it.
Get back in the swing. So yeah, we're happy. He did a fantastic job yesterday sharing with us, and so he decided that he's going to come back and at least share with us for the remaining of the week. So would you do me a favor? Would you share and like? He has a really, really unique perspective on how to minister to today's millennials and Generation X. And so, hey, Lakeisha, and I'm so happy to have him with us and sharing his insight into how to minister in today's world. And so, would you share and like? There's probably somebody on your Facebook, or in your Twitter world that would be served by having some inspirational message, a gospel message that would inspire them, encourage them, enlighten them, maybe even correct them, and to turn them back to the right path. So we're grateful. Will, take it away, my friend.
Awesome. Good morning, man. As he said, you see how that dude is slick. I know y'all with this guy every morning. This dude is slick, man. You see how he turned this? He turned this into at the very least, he'll be doing this for the rest of the week.
Right.
I
thought we had an agreement. At the very least. I'm hoping I can get him to come in like once a week or something at least later on. But I'm happy that if he gets in a groove, you'll start to like it, and maybe you'll take it from me.
Take it from him. Slick, man. But okay, so yesterday we talked about contentment.
Yes.
And so I think this is what's going to be. The theme for the week is change, right?
Yes.
And so I think the way I plan to approach the rest of this week is taking a word.
Yeah.
Trying to find out how we need to change the way that we look at a word.
I like that.
And attach a question to it.
I like that.
Like, so yesterday we had contentment, and then our question was, what are we going to leave?
Yes.
Right? And so what are we going to leave when we leave the earth? Like,
Right.
what do we leave behind?
Right.
So today we're going to talk a little bit about failure, right?
Wow.
And so, of course, it's not too many ways to spin failure, really.
Right.
You know, you fail, fail is, the connotation with failure is pretty
bleak.
Self-explanatory. You got it. But there is a perspective that if you can change how you look at failure, a lot like if you change your perspective on contentment, what's actually happening is we're taking like these words and we're acting as if the word changing the view of the word is changing our life and changing our outlook. But it's really, all these things are like characteristics of actual God. Like this is how Jesus walked, right? And so these are little practical tips that kind of give us that we probably need just to catch us along. But in the end, at the end of the day, all of this stuff is just little nuggets to how Jesus lived while he was here. And so today we're talking about changing our perspective on failure. I promise I want to keep it simple and short and sweet. I thought I was doing that yesterday, and I felt like I was 35 minutes yesterday. So
you're fine.
So our verse for today is, so be strong. Oh, it's Deuteronomy 31:6, right? So be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid and do not panic before them. For the Lord your God will personally go ahead of you. He will neither fail you nor abandon you. Right? And so the context of this verse is what's happening at this time is that Moses is aging. He's aged quite a bit. And he's getting ready to pass the torch to Joshua, right? So they're standing amongst the people, and when he tells the people, he has Joshua standing next to him, and he's telling the people that, this is what's happening. This is the order I'm stepping aside. Joshua is going to be the guy to fill my shoes. And as you could imagine, Moses is the man, right? So it's the equivalent of the president. You know what I'm saying? The president tapping you on the shoulder and saying, "Hey, yo, I need you to kind of fill this role," right? This is a big deal. Moses is not a regular dude. This isn't like, hey, fill in for my class for a day. You know what I'm saying? This isn't me filling in for Wake Up with the Word, one morning. This is Moses, right? People had a tough enough time getting off of Moses to Jesus, right? So they had a tough enough time getting that. So you can imagine a regular dude, regular Joshua, you know what I'm saying, about to fill the shoes of Moses, right? And so how much that was messing with people at the time. So what he told the people was this verse. He told them to be strong, be courageous, right? And so that's what he told the people, right? So I imagine, I'm Joshua, right? I imagine, okay, so he gave them that generic word, like he gave them that. I'm gonna need a little bit more. Right. So I assume there's a little bit more coming my way. So Moses leans, this is how I envision it happening. Moses leans to him. Joshua's like, all right, this is my different word. I get this is what's going on. And he tells Joshua the same thing. Right? He says, Joshua, be strong and courageous.
Yes.
And I'm sure at that time Joshua's like, I'm
gonna need some more.
I'm gonna need a little bit more. You just gave that to the people who not about to fill the president's shoes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so this is the context. This is what's going on. This is Joshua being asked to be strong and courageous as he fills the shoes of the big man, Moses, right? And so with us, right, I think we all would agree that we are not our peak selves right now. Wherever we're operating right now, no matter what our vocation is, no matter what our job is, no matter what we're operating in right now, I think we all would agree that we are not operating at our maximum level, right? And so I tend to think that the difference, like the threshold, the tension, is usually because of your fears, right? And so a lot of us need that encouragement. A lot of us need that verse. A lot of us need that be strong and to be courageous. Because God wants you to become the person that you too know yourself that you want to be, or that you know you're not right now, currently. And so we got to understand that God has a plan for your life, right? But people also have a plan for your life as well, right? So people have plans for your life. They have a idea. Like, so for me, right? For example, I'm sure since I've been born, there's been an expectation that I would end up right here. From the beginning of time, there's my father, Pastor George Jr., there's my grandfather on my mom's side, there's just a bunch of preachers, and It's only a matter of time before he ends up right here, right? Which is why I love my parents, because they never put that, you know what I'm saying? They never put that on me. But people have their own, and I've dealt with that. I wrestled with that a lot growing up, just kind of running from what I was probably inclined or bent towards. But other people putting that on me was just too much, right? Whether it was right or wrong, like so. People have a plan for your life, right? But the idea is that we can get so consumed up in what people want us to be, or what they want us to do, that we miss what God is calling us to do, right? And so, like I said, we all agree that we're not where we want to be, right? But and we also, I think we all would also say that we're usually inclined to say that we want to be. We want to be in a place. There's something in us that wants people to say things about us that we don't actually live out, right? Like you want like we talked about yesterday. When you die, like what do you want people to say about you and stuff? And all of us, man, I want people to say amazing things about me. Of course, what in the world? Of course, I want people to say
right.
But we don't. Do the things during the course of the life that would lead to that. You asking it. That's a big ask.
Right.
You live your life a certain way. You get up there and you ask somebody to speak on your behalf, and they like, you know what I'm saying? He was cool.
He was all right.
He was straight. Like, you know what I mean?
Nothing special.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a lot of pressure. You're putting a lot on somebody to speak a bunch of all these people, and they don't really. You ain't leaving with nothing. You left them with
gave them no material.
Right. So and that's a rough spot, but I think that's a spot that, if we being honest, we put a lot of people in. We put we want people to say certain things about us
without living up to it.
Right? But what the idea is to become today who you want to be tomorrow, right? Start doing those things, right? Don't wait, do it now, right? Like, why waste the time, right? Right now, you already know you're not where you want to be, right? And a lot of us are waiting for a bunch of things. A lot of us are waiting for a change in circumstances. We're waiting in a change in our marriage. We're waiting in a change in our girlfriend, boyfriend. We're waiting on a change financially. We're waiting on changes. We're waiting on circumstances to shift in order to feel necessary for us to change how we're living, knowing that how we living is not the way that I want my story to be told at the end, right? And so I think we would agree, right? This is back to our failure, right? I think we would agree that most of our people that we look up to, most of our heroes are people who have failed, right? They have all failed in some aspect to get to where they want. Your athletes, your speakers, and so we get to this idea, and I've had the privilege of stumbling on this Bible plan. This Bible, it's about chasing failure, right? And I found this on the Bible app like a good couple months ago, right? And since then, man, my life has changed, right? Maybe longer than that, because that was so what? Okay, so the idea of chasing failure, right, is understanding that verse, Deuteronomy 31:6, understanding that God has called you to be strong and be courageous, and that he has said that he will personally go ahead of you into those places, right? And so it changes your confidence, right? Just like yesterday, being content will change your perspective on the things that you value. Understanding that God will go ahead of you and he will neither fail you nor abandon you. Understanding that before you walk into stuff, oh my gosh, it gives you such a safety net, right? And so I think a lot of us are trying to dictate our lives in a way that we make sure that in no way we experience failure, right? And that's become our primary objective, to make sure that we do not experience failure. And I don't know how many people are a fan of this guy. He's a little vulgar out the mouth, but he's like one of the biggest entrepreneurs right now. And his name is Gary Vaynerchuk. I think that's how you pronounce the name. People call him Gary V, right? Super charismatic guy. And he said it, right? He said he feels bad, right? He feels bad in the coming years. He feels bad for those who have been privileged. He feels bad for the privileged because the privileged, they won't have the good grief. They won't have the mentality of understanding how to work for something. They've already been given it, so they lose their man, I can lose the word. It starts with a C. I know it is. It will make all this thing click. But people not having like things given to them, right? Or experiencing failure, it shifts how you make yourself driven. It shifts your determination. It shifts all of that stuff. And how else, right? If you don't fail, how else can you authentically build a drive, a sense of perseverance? How in the world do you build these things without failing? Right? You cannot. There's no way to succeed at the very little things you try. You cannot succeed at the very little things that you try and assume that your perspective is going to be blown, because this is what happens for most of us, right? We try we do what we're naturally inclined. We chase success, right? So we find out what we're good at early, and we stick with it for the rest of our lives. We never move from it. We stick exactly with what we know. And how many of us know people that are chasing? I'm not even going to there. Chasing success, right? So when we're doing that, it's a very incremental growth with chasing success. You're not stretching.
Right.
You're not you know what I'm saying? The growth is super minimal, right? And so the idea is that you want to instead chase failure, because what happens when you're chasing success, you're really paralyzed, right? You've let the fear of you possibly not being good at something paralyze you from the possibility that you could actually break through a wall, right? And so a lot of us right now are paralyzed, right? And so we chase the guarantees, we chase the sure things, just personally speaking, I have seen the most growth in the past couple years than ever before in my life, just simply because I have grasped this verse, and this has become like my life's motto, man. I say yes to the stuff before I even think about it. And it's usually challenging stuff. It's not about being a yes man. It's about saying yes to fears, right? I'm not a big public speaking dude. He asked me to do this. You know what I'm saying? I'm used to teaching kids every Sunday, so I get to teach and I get a week to come up with something else. You know what I'm saying? I was done yesterday. I told him I need a nap. Like, I need to go to sleep. And I'm thinking, what else what am I going to talk about the next day? Like, how are dudes developing content for the very next day? But I think what we'll find is that when you chase failure, or when you're failing forward, right? You're failing. The failing is canceling out a bunch of things that would have otherwise wasted your time.
Wow. Okay.
Right. And you know, so you can get closer to understanding what is for you even when you fail. Yes. Even more so when you fail.
Yes.
As opposed to sticking with what you know.
Yes.
A bunch of us have untapped potential that we never ever see, because we never ever put ourselves in a place where God can push you to another level.
Yes.
Right. And so we end up settling for the incremental growth. We're cool with being paralyzed, right? And it's kind of like what we talked about yesterday when we spoke about how awareness with contentment, how awareness to what you don't have brings discontentment. But in the same manner, the result of awareness is that for a lot of us, we have too many options, right? So many options that you're paralyzed because there are too many ways to go. There are too many options for you, right? And so like I said, I'm gonna keep this short. This is it. This is how we're gonna end it right here. Our money question, right? With chasing failure, right? Our money question is, granted that we know we are not the person that we want to be in the future. We are not the person that God had molded you and crafted you to be since birth. We are not that person right now. Understanding that we're waiting. You know what I'm saying? That for some reason we are stalling out, wanting our story to be told a certain way when we're done. Like, we desperately want that. The money question has to be, who is waiting on you, man? Because the idea is that if you don't chase failure right now, there is somebody who is going to be without, because you have not reached what you're supposed to reach, because you have not stepped into what you're supposed to step into. And this is what I've learned that gets me going, because I am not always the greatest, most motivated person in the world, right? As he could tell, I'm not like a self-help guy. I'm not like I'm not a big, but what the thing that gets me to move more so than anything is when I attach my life to people.
Yes.
And if you can attach your life to a person, if you can attach your life to another being, this stuff will get you moving.
Yes.
And so when you think about every morning when you just going through the motions, right? There is somebody that is losing because you are waiting. Somebody's losing, man, because you are chilling. Somebody is losing because you stalling out. And I don't know about y'all, but that makes me get up realizing there's something else I gotta do. I have to become something else, because there is somebody takes, I talk about my younger cousins, because I don't have siblings, but I attach to my younger cousins, man. And dude, if someone else doesn't get you, if you already, because what's crazy, it's already crazy to not for yourself,
right?
To not for yourself want to be better, right? But to understand that, yo, if somebody else, if you can't attach yourself to someone else,
right,
and that gets you to step out of your zone, your comfort zone, and be better, like be a better you, and be the bridge for somebody else, man. And so the question, man, today, who is waiting? Who is waiting on you? There's somebody waiting for you to jump. There's somebody waiting for you to write a book. There's somebody waiting for you to start speaking, to start sharing everything that you're reading, all that knowledge that you acquiring. You just the reader. You reading up everything. You're not sharing, right? Soaking it all up. What's the point? There is somebody that is out there that is wandering. Wow. That's wandering, and the difference in them reaching their potential is you reaching yours, right? And so I think we've got to get out of the mindset of thinking that our life is just our life, yes. And that I can move at whatever pace I move at, and it has no consequence or no bearing on anybody else. And I think if you pay close attention to that, and you wake up every morning with that in mind, it will shift. Like we talked about yesterday, it will shift your value. Yeah. It'll shift what you think is important. It'll shift the risk you are taking in the name of knowing that, yo, the verse says he will go before. Come on, man. Like, he will go before you. Y'all ever been to a haunted house? I've been to a haunted house with a couple people. I don't know if it was last year or the year before. You ever been to a haunted house and everybody in there is dark? Everybody on each other's shoulders, right? And everybody's really, when you setting up lines to go in the haunted house, everybody's trying not to be the first person.
Yep.
Like, everybody's trying not to. Nobody wants to take on that first initial scare. Everybody's heads down, they clenching on other people, and dude, God is that dude. Cool with it. Cool with it. Taking on that first scare, man, the whole time. And so, man, do something different. Switch it up. Switch your style up. Do something. And it's not, it does not matter if you do not become successful at whatever it is. The object is that it's that you are not afraid, right, to stretch yourself in the name of knowing that God, you are exercising your confidence and your faith in God. And that makes you
successful.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You get to where you want to get to by even failing, man. Like the plan is by a guy named Ryan Leake, who has a book that I haven't read. The book is called Chasing Failure, but I saw his documentary, man, and he got to just by accepting challenges, he got to try out for the Phoenix Suns NBA team. Not qualified to be able to do that, but he accepted. Most of us are too afraid to step in a place with professionals that are trained to do something that we might not be trained to do.
Yes.
Like, most of us are scared to step there. But he says he got way further. He got way further chasing failure than he ever could have got chasing success.
Bam! What?
And so that's it today, man. Chase failure, and then think, man, who is waiting for you to chase failure? Who is waiting for you to become all that you can become? Wow. You know, so pray us out really quick. Lord God, we thank you for today, Lord God. We thank you for what you have for us today, Lord God, for how you're shifting our values, Lord God, for how you're shifting our thoughts, and how you're establishing the importance in community, right, and in people and in fellowship, and understanding how big a part other people play in our journey and in our growth, Lord God. I pray that we will all keep this in mind, and that we will attach other people to our journeys. Yes. That we will understand that the only way to grow and to get better is to attach other people. Keep us away from the mindset of isolation. Keep us in communion with others, Lord God. Keep people in, just keep us surrounded, Lord God. Keep us involved. Keep community around us, Lord God. Keep the drive to have other people involved in our story. And Lord God, just in your name, Lord God, in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Awesome.
Got your music.
Oh, yeah, we bring it back.
See you guys. Have a wonderful day in the Lord. He'll be back tomorrow. All right. Talk to you later. Have a great day. Love you.